Good morning guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you've all been keeping well. Today I'm out of the spot I haven't been to for ages. I came here at the start of last year and I caught absolutely nothing. So today's sort of plan is I'm going to head out, do a bit of fishing for the first half of the day, and then once the tide's gone out a bit I'm going to come back in and have a dive around and look for some crays. Fingers crossed I can do better than last time I was here. See you guys soon. Well, I'm out at the first spot now guys. Started dropping these jigs and just on that last drop I had a hit. So fish are obviously around here. Okay guys, fishing was pretty dead, so I pulled up to the first dive spot, getting geared up and I'm about to get in. See you guys in the water. Yeah, so not the best result on the fishing front guys. It's pretty dead out there. I spent a couple of hours jigging around and I just had that one hit, but nothing else really turned up. But yeah, it was really good once I got into the water. The viz, as you can see, is just insane. It's probably the best viz I've ever dived in. It's about, I don't know, probably 10 to 12 meters at a guess. I also found some power. It's the first time I've seen a patch of power in the North Island, so I was pretty excited, but they were all undersized, sort of by 5-10 mils. There were heaps of stingrays hanging around that day too. Some of them were quite big. But as usual, the mission and the goal for the day was to find some crayfish or quarter. Saw that guy in the crack there, so I went back up and got a breath before sort of figuring out a game plan of how I was going to get it. Because he was in this crack, what I wanted to do was get one hand on either side of him so he didn't go underneath the rocks. Managed to get him with just the one hand, which was awesome. However, when I got up to the surface, I turned it over and discovered it had eggs on the underside. If you don't know, if you grab a crayfish and it's got eggs or it's in berry, that means you have to put them back. So I dove back down and put this one back where she came from. After looking around a bit more, I found this big group of crayfish under this rock here on the left. When I first went under, I just saw these little ones and didn't really notice this bigger one down the bottom there. And by the time I'd noticed the big ones, all the little ones sort of realised what was going on and jumped back, so lost the chance to get the big one. Still really cool to see this many crayfish hanging around so close to home. This cray here was out in the open, but he had a perfect escape route behind him, so when I went to grab him, he went straight back down into the hole. Once again, there were still heaps of little ones hanging around there, so looking good for the future of crays in this area. On the way back up, I spotted this one in the crack there. You might not be able to see it, but sort of hanging around in the crack. So once again, went back down after forming a plan. Once again, had to get both hands on either side of it if I was going to get it, but unfortunately it was in a tricky place to get and that cray got the better of me. This day was definitely all about patience and perseverance. Lots of the crays I saw that day were either just too small or escaped from me or were in berry, so it was really a matter of just persevering and weeding out all those undersized ones and all the ones that had eggs. When I dove down to these rocks, there was a cray sitting in a spot which shouldn't have been too hard to get. However, when I went to swap my torch over from one hand to the other, it retreated back down into quite a tricky spot to get. Still went back up and grabbed a breath and had a crack at it, but yeah, obviously you can see he's quite deep down there, so couldn't really reach him. Went round to see if he popped out the other side. There were another couple there. I had a go at one of them, but as you can see here, he's actually just a little small, so didn't bother pursuing him and just went back up and kept looking around. As I was moving spots, I came across this blue cod. Very rarely catch or see blue cod up in the North Island where I am, so I always like to get them on tape when I do see them. Back to the cray hunt, there was this guy sitting quite far out in the open. He should have been an easy grab, but he snuck back under the rock and yeah, ended up being quite a challenge, but boom, in the end, yeah, got a hand on them and managed to rip them out. Thankfully this one had no eggs and was well and truly legal, so finally good to get one in the bag. Here's another one that was in a bit of a tricky spot to grab. This one had plenty of escape routes, but managed to get him with one hand and push him into the other and pull him up. Looked good when I first grabbed him, but because it was a female it was slightly too small, and yeah, let it go and live another day. Found another nice cray here, however after grabbing it I discovered it had eggs, so like that one earlier I had to put it back. Same story with this one, another good cray, but after pulling it out I found it had eggs, and so I had to release this one again. This was a really challenging day guys, but that's what it's all about, you know. The harder you have to work for these fish, the more rewarding they feel when you finally get them. Soon enough I've discovered this rock where there are quite a few crays underneath. Some of them actually look pretty good, so I was kind of trying to pick out the best one, although once again it was in a pretty tricky spot to get, so it was going to take a bit of thinking of how I was going to get these ones out. Had a go at first from this side and managed to get a hold on one of them, but it managed to escape. After taking a breath I went around the other side of the rock to see if I'd push them around there. This guy came out at the wrong time. I tried to grab him, but he was too quick for me and managed to escape back into the hole. Went back round to the side I started off on and kind of scoped it out, got in there with the torch. Honestly the torch is so essential I reckon when you're looking around these dark sort of holes, pretty much night and day so to speak. You can sometimes completely miss a cray just because it's too dark. Saw this cray on the right, so I was having a grab and trying to pull him out here, but unfortunately after hanging on to him for a while all I got was a few of his legs. I went back down again and you can see him just there on the right, and had another crack. Once again though, he was just really stuck in there. I've cut these clips short, but basically this just shows how many times it takes to go down and get these crays sometimes. Kept wiggling them around, but once again didn't get him, so after about 4 or 5 times and taking off most of his legs, went back down, and I said to myself before I went down this was going to be the last go, and tried really hard and fortunately finally got him out. He's missing a few of his legs, but he was a good cray, and so he went in the bag, and yeah, that was 2 nice crays for the day, so really happy about that. It was a lot of hard work, but yeah, definitely paid off guys. Okay guys, been diving around for a few hours now and I think I'm going to call it a day. It wasn't the most productive of days out there, pretty much had a repeat of last time on the fishing front, but hey, I got those 2 nice crays in the bag after weeding through all the crays that were in berry, so pretty happy about that. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for today guys. Hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.